Hello, I'm Rebecca Flaherty, and today I'm sharing a free taster lesson from one of my Skillshare classes. If you want to find out more about this class, then just follow the links in the description or go to rebeccaflaherty.com/learn. So I'm now going to show you how to use those same principles to create a template in Illustrator, which will suit you better if you make vector art and vector patterns. So we're going to create a new file, same as before, and this time we're creating an artboard instead of a canvas. I'll just change the units to pixels, and I'm going to use the dimensions from before, which were 1080 pixels by 1350. And then we'll change the raster effects to 72 pixels per inch, and then we can click on Create. So the same as we did in Photoshop, I'm going to start by creating a background layer. I'm going to use the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to drag out a rectangle which is the same size as the artboard. Now this has made me a white rectangle with a black stroke on it. So I'm going to press X to switch to the stroke colour, and then I can take out that stroke. So we just have a white rectangle. So now that has just a fill on it, I'm going to use any colour for now for the background. So to set up the guidelines in Illustrator, I'm going to use the rectangle tool to create a square, and I'm going to make it 1080 by 1080. And then let's choose a different colour for this so we can easily see it. And then I'm going to centre this on my artboard and then leave it selected. And then I want to go up to View, and I want to show rulers down here. And then, same as in Photoshop, I'm going to drag guidelines down and snap them to the edges of this box. And then we can click on that and delete it. And now we have these in place, I'm going to press Command 0 for full screen. So the next job is to create our watermark. I think for this one, I'm going to choose something a little bit more intricate and use a flag kind of shape. So I'm going to use the rectangle tool to drag out a rectangle about that sort of size. And then I'm going to make a square shape by clicking and dragging and holding down the Shift key. And then I'm going to hover the cursor in the corner up here, and then holding down Shift, I'm going to rotate it 45 degrees like this. And then I'm going to select this object as well by holding down Shift and clicking onto it. And then I'm going to align them centrally like this. And then when I select them both, you can see we've got our flag shape coming in there. So I'm going to go to the Pathfinder tool and click on Divide. And this is now a group, so I can double click onto this and get into the group, and then just delete these excess parts there, and then we're left with this nice flag shape, which I can then easily snap to the edge of the document like this. So then again, we need to add our text. So let's use the text tool, and as before, we'll leave that as Lorem Ipsum, our lovely company name again. And then we can hold down Shift and drag that to roughly the right size. Obviously, when you're doing this, you can play around with different fonts or logos and use the ones that fit your own branding. So I think we can change these to some nicer colours for now though. So let's select the text, and I will come down here to my library and choose a nice colour from here. We can use this pink colour for the background and this nice brown colour for the text. And then there we go, that's our basic document set up. So I'm going to press Command S to save, and we'll put that also into my social media folder from before. And we can call this one Illustrator Template. And now we can have a look at how we would use this document. So I've got a pattern here in this document that I've been working on. So all you need to do is press Command C to copy this square filled with the pattern, and then go into your template and press Command V to paste. And then that will be added to your swatches down here. So now you can just delete this one and we can click on this background and then use the swatch to fill it with our pattern. And then if you wanted to change the scale of that, you can press Command L and then uncheck Transform Objects, because we don't want to change the size of the box, we just want to change the pattern. And then you can just hold down Shift whilst pressing the up and down key and scale this up and down as to how best would suit your post. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Now, there's a couple of different ways you could export this. You could either highlight everything, hold down Option and drag it into the Asset Export panel. Leave the settings at 72 ppi, and from there you can export it into your social media folder. You could also go to File, Export and Export for Screens, and then export it that way. So whichever you're used to doing in your workflow is the best one for you to choose. If you wanted to share an image rather than a pattern, you can select this square and choose a background colour for your image. And I have this image here in this document that I can use, so I'm going to copy that and then paste it into this document. And then all you need to do is resize it to fit your template. I'm going to press Command G to group that, and then I can align it to the centre of my document. Now these lines here are strokes and they haven't scaled up with the design because I didn't have that setting selected. So I'm just going to go in and change the width of those so that they are more appropriate for the size of this image. And that is basically how you use the Illustrator template, just a case of dragging and dropping things in, adjusting them, and then exporting them to your social media folder. As solo artists and entrepreneurs, we have to wear all the hats in our online businesses, and it can sometimes feel like we just don't have enough pairs of hands. Social media presence is everything these days, yet it's a whole job in itself, and keeping up with content creation plus, well, actually making art is a bit of a juggle. But by integrating the two into your artist workflow and having handy templates set up and ready to go, it doesn't have to be a whole other job. I'm Becky Flaherty. I'm a UK illustrator and my speciality is surface pattern design. I've been working as a full-time artist running my own online business since 2015, and in that time I've been constantly refining my processes to come up with my own methods and shortcuts for creating patterns and illustrations. I used to spend a whole day every month batch creating my social media posts, but I soon realised this way of working wasn't really serving me well. Although I'm a fan of batch working, I was wasting more time than I was saving by having to revisit old patterns and illustrations that I had already finished and archived. I now incorporate creating Instagram posts right into my workflow, and it's one of the first things I do after I create a new design. By having a ready-to-go template set up, I can quickly paste my new work into it, save a post to my social media folder, and then forget all about it until I'm putting together my next set of posts. No more trawling through old files to find that one file that I haven't shared on Instagram yet. In this class, I will teach you how to set up your own Instagram templates in both Photoshop and Illustrator, so whichever you use for creating your work, you have a template set up to easily drag and drop your work into. The templates can be easily customized to fit other social media platforms. We'll look at how to set up a simple brand logo or watermark on your work, but hide it in your main page grid, as well as easily colour match it to fit each post. This is a beginner level class, but a little background knowledge of how to use either Photoshop or Illustrator is recommended. By the end of this class, you'll be able to set up your own time-saving templates for social media and create posts in seconds, ready to file away for later use and never have to be scrabbling around for something to post ever again. Excited to get started? Let's go!